Train Your Mind While You Sleep, written and published by Stoic Ranger. Introduction. What if I told you that the most powerful transformation of your mind doesn't happen when you're awake, but when you're asleep? Every night, while your body rests, your brain is secretly rewriting your thoughts, sharpening your focus, and training your inner strength. But here's the truth. Most people waste this power. They go to bed with noise, with stress, with negativity, and they wake up weaker than before. But if you learn how to use sleep the right way, it can become your greatest weapon. Imagine closing your eyes at night and waking up smarter, calmer, and mentally unbreakable. This is not a dream. This is the hidden science of training your mind while you sleep. The night is not the end of your day. It is the beginning of your strength. And the way you choose to sleep will decide whether you rise as the same person or awaken as someone greater. Tonight, your transformation begins. Chapter 1. The Secret Workshop of the Brain. When your body lies still at night, it may appear as if everything inside you is shutting down, but in truth, your brain is anything but idle. Deep within your skull, billions of neurons, the tiny messengers of thought and memory, begin a remarkable process of repair, reorganization, and connection. It is almost like a hidden workshop, one that comes alive only when you close your eyes. Imagine your mind as a massive library filled with shelves that stretch endlessly in every direction. During the day, you constantly toss pages into this library, pages filled with new experiences, information, sights, sounds, emotions, and decisions. By the time the sun sets, this library is cluttered and messy, overflowing with scattered fragments that have yet to find their proper place. If left in such chaos, nothing could be found when needed. But as soon as you sleep, the librarian awakens. This librarian, which is your brain in its nighttime mode, immediately begins sorting through the disorder. Every memory, every thought, and every experience you had during the day is reviewed. Important ones, like the lesson you studied, the skill you practiced, or the meaningful conversation you had, are carefully filed away and reinforced so they can be recalled later with clarity. Useless fragments, like the random advertisement you saw, the background noise you overheard, or the fleeting moments that hold no value, are discarded. This is why sometimes you forget small, unimportant details, but remember clearly what truly mattered. At the same time, while the librarian is at work, the brain also takes out the trash. Waste products and toxins that build up while you are awake are cleansed during deep sleep, allowing your mind to stay sharp, fresh, and healthy. This entire process is called memory consolidation, and it is one of the most critical parts of strengthening your mind. Without it, knowledge remains scattered and fragile, easily lost or confused. But with it, information becomes solid, skills are polished, and wisdom is built. This is why so many teachers, scientists, and successful people advise you to study or learn something before bed. Whatever you practice by day, your mind continues to strengthen at night, silently working on your behalf while you rest. If you review your lessons before sleeping, the knowledge settles deeper. If you rehearse your goals or visualize success before sleep, the brain begins weaving that image into your subconscious. Sleep is therefore not wasted time. It is the hidden workshop of the brain, the secret place where thoughts are shaped into clarity, where learning is transformed into mastery, and where emotions are processed into balance. Every night, your mind becomes sharper, not through conscious effort, but through the silent, tireless labor of your sleeping brain. What you choose to feed your mind during the day, it refines during the night. And every morning, you awaken with a mind better prepared to face the challenges of tomorrow. Chapter 2. Reprogramming your subconscious. Beneath the surface of your conscious mind, there exists an extraordinary force that shapes your life more than you realize, the subconscious mind. Unlike your waking thoughts, which grow tired and fade into silence when you fall asleep, your subconscious never rests. It is always awake, always recording, always absorbing, and always influencing the way you see yourself and the world around you. Think of your subconscious as the deep ocean beneath the waves. On the surface, the conscious mind is like the water you can see, shifting and moving with every breeze and storm. But beneath, in the depths, the ocean is vast, powerful and steady, silently controlling the tides. Every night when you drift into sleep, the conscious mind, the part of you that makes decisions, argues with itself, and constantly analyzes, finally steps aside. The guard at the gate lowers his weapons, and the subconscious takes full command. It begins to process everything you absorbed throughout the day, the words you spoke, the images you saw, the emotions you felt, and even the thoughts you barely noticed. What you allow into your mind in the hours before sleep matters immensely, because those are the seeds that your subconscious plants and nurtures during the night. If you go to bed filled with worry, resentment, or fear, your subconscious does not judge those feelings. It simply accepts them as instructions and reinforces them, making those emotions stronger in your life. But if you end your day with gratitude, peace, and affirmations of strength, your subconscious also takes those in and multiplies them in silence. Imagine you are a farmer. Each thought before sleep is a seed you place into the soil. Your subconscious is the earth itself, rich, fertile, and ready to grow whatever you give it. If you plant weeds, weeds will grow. If you plant flowers, flowers will grow. You cannot expect to sow anger and wake with peace, nor can you feed your mind with self-doubt and hope to rise with confidence. The subconscious is obedient, not selective. It nurtures what you give it, and in the quiet hours of sleep, it works tirelessly to bring those seeds to life. This is why many great minds have practiced the habit of affirmations before bed. By repeating powerful statements such as, "I am capable," "I am disciplined," or "I am prepared for tomorrow," they impress these ideas upon the subconscious, which then continues to shape their behavior and identity even while they rest. But it is not only affirmations that influence the subconscious. Visualization is another powerful tool. When you close your eyes and clearly imagine yourself achieving a goal, speaking with confidence, or living in strength, your subconscious treats those images as if they are real experiences. The more you practice this before sleep, the more your subconscious builds those pathways, making it easier for your conscious mind to bring them into reality. In this way, you can rehearse victories at night and step into them more naturally by day. Athletes use this to perfect their movements, leaders use it to prepare for challenges, and ordinary people can use it to train their minds for resilience, courage, and focus. The beauty of the subconscious is that it is always working in your favor if you learn to guide it. While you sleep, it silently strengthens the habits you have built, the beliefs you carry, and the identity you choose to embrace. Each night is an opportunity to reprogram it with intention, to overwrite old patterns of fear and weakness with new codes of strength and discipline. If you end your day with chaos, you rise with chaos. But if you end your day with clarity, you rise with clarity. The choice is always yours, and it begins in those final quiet minutes before sleep. Your subconscious is the hidden engine of your life. You may not always hear it or see it working, but it is there, shaping your thoughts, directing your actions, and guiding your destiny. By learning to use sleep as a time of reprogramming, you unlock one of the most powerful secrets of the mind. That transformation does not only happen when you struggle and strive, it also happens in silence, in surrender, in the deep hours of the night when your conscious self has let go. This is the secret training of the mind. What you impress before bed, you become by morning. Chapter 3. Emotional healing through dreams. Dreams are often thought of as strange, random stories with little meaning, but the truth is far deeper and more powerful. When you fall asleep, your mind does not only repair your body or strengthen your memory, it also opens a sacred space for emotional healing. Think of dreams as the theater of the soul, a hidden stage where your feelings come alive, replay themselves, and quietly release their weight. During the day, your conscious mind often tries to control or suppress emotions. You may push away sadness because it feels too heavy, you may bury anger because it feels shameful, or you may ignore fear because it feels inconvenient. Yet these emotions do not simply vanish when ignored. They remain within you, waiting to be resolved. At night, when your conscious defenses are lowered, your dreams allow these emotions to step forward in symbolic form, giving you the chance to process them without the resistance you carry during the day. This is why people often experience nightmares or restless dreams during stressful periods of life. It is not because the brain is cruel or punishing, but because it is attempting to help you confront what you have been avoiding. For example, a person who is deeply anxious about failure might dream of falling, being chased, or missing something important. These dreams are not random. They are the mind's way of rehearsing and releasing fear, helping you face it in a safe environment so it has less control over you when you wake. At the same time, dreams can be comforting and inspiring. Many people have dreamt of loved ones who have passed away, feeling reassured by their presence. Others have found solutions to problems in their dreams, as if their subconscious had been working silently on the puzzle all along. Science has shown that during rapid eye movement, REM sleep, the stage where dreams are most vivid, the brain is highly active in processing emotions. Regions of the brain linked to memory and feeling light up as if replaying life events, but with one important difference: the emotional charge of those events is often reduced. This means that dreams act as a kind of emotional therapy, allowing you to relive stressful experiences without being overwhelmed by them. It is as though the brain takes your heaviest burdens, reshapes them into stories, and hands them back to you in a lighter form. By the time you awaken, you feel calmer, more balanced, and better prepared to face the day. There is also a mysterious and beautiful side to dreams that goes beyond emotional repair. Many artists, inventors, and thinkers throughout history have credited their greatest ideas to dreams. The chemist Dmitri Mendeleev saw the complete structure of the periodic table in a dream. The famous inventor Elias Howe discovered the design for the sewing machine needle through a dream of being attacked by warriors carrying spears with holes in the tips. Even great writers like Mary Shelley and poets like Samuel Taylor Coleridge spoke of how dreams delivered to them stories and verses that would go on to inspire generations. These examples show that dreams are not simply emotional release. They are also a creative laboratory where the subconscious works freely, unrestricted by the limits of logic. For your own life, it is important to recognize dreams as more than meaningless fragments. When you awaken from a vivid dream, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself what feelings were present, what patterns emerged, and what your mind may have been trying to resolve. Sometimes the meaning will be clear, sometimes it will be hidden, but either way, the act of reflection helps you connect with the healing process. You may even keep a dream journal, writing down what you remember each morning. Over time, patterns reveal themselves, and you begin to see how your subconscious is guiding you, showing you your fears, your desires, and your strengths. Dreams are also a reminder that healing is not always loud or visible. You do not always need to talk endlessly about your struggles or force solutions in waking life. Sometimes healing happens in silence, behind closed eyes, in the quiet language of symbols and stories that only your sleeping mind can understand. By giving yourself the gift of deep sleep, you allow this hidden therapy to take place night after night, ensuring that you do not carry yesterday's emotional storms into tomorrow. In this way, dreams are both a mirror and a medicine. They show you what is unresolved within, and at the same time, they offer a safe space to process and release it. To respect your dreams is to respect your own emotional healing. Sleep is not only for the brain's logic, it is for the heart's balance. Every night, while you surrender to rest, your dreams work to heal wounds, restore peace, and prepare you to rise stronger, calmer, and more complete than you were the day before. Chapter 4. The Warrior's Rest. Strength has always been admired in human history: strength of body, strength of will, and strength of spirit. Warriors, leaders, and ordinary people alike all strive for it in their own ways. But there is one truth about strength that is often forgotten: even the strongest warrior cannot fight without rest. A soldier who stays awake too long loses sharpness. A fighter who neglects recovery grows weak, no matter how fierce his heart may be. The same is true for you. Every day you face battles, some small, some overwhelming. You fight to stay disciplined, to overcome challenges, to handle responsibilities, and to grow into a better version of yourself. But just like the warrior, your victories depend not only on your effort, but on your ability to recover. Without sleep, your mind becomes dull, your body grows fragile, and your emotions turn unstable. True strength is not built in constant struggle. It is built in the cycle of exertion and restoration, action and rest. When a warrior sharpens his sword, he does not do it while in the heat of battle. He withdraws, retreats for a moment, and prepares his weapon so that when the next fight comes, he is ready. In the same way, sleep is your sharpening stone. Every hour you rest, your brain hones its edges, your memory becomes sharper, your focus grows clearer, and your reactions become faster. Without this nightly sharpening, you enter each new day carrying a dull blade, unprepared for the challenges ahead. Sleep is not laziness. Sleep is the warrior's most essential discipline. It is the invisible training that makes visible victories possible. The body itself confirms this truth. During deep sleep, your muscles repair themselves, cells regenerate, energy stores refill, hormones that govern strength, growth, and resilience are released in perfect balance. Athletes who neglect sleep, no matter how much they train, see their progress collapse. Their bodies weaken, their injuries increase, and their minds lose focus. The same happens to everyday people. You may not fight on a battlefield, but you face stress, pressure, and decisions that demand mental clarity. Without sleep, you are fighting blind, stumbling through life without the strength you need. A sleepless mind is like a warrior without armor, vulnerable to every blow. Yet in modern times, many have come to see sleeplessness as a badge of honor. People boast about working late into the night, as if exhaustion were proof of dedication. But this is not true strength. It is weakness disguised as discipline. A warrior who refuses to rest is a warrior who will fall early. True discipline lies in balance, the ability to give your full effort when awake and to surrender fully when it is time to sleep. Rest is not escape from battle. It is strategy for victory. Think of your mind as a bow. If you keep it pulled tight at all times, it will eventually snap. But if you learn to release it, to let it rest, it will remain strong, flexible, and ready when needed. Sleep is that release. It is the time when your mind and body loosen, reset, and prepare to be drawn again with full force. Every warrior knows that a weapon must be cared for to remain reliable. You are no different. You are your own greatest weapon, and without rest, you cannot be sharp, steady, or strong. Even your spirit, the deepest part of you, requires rest. When you are exhausted, your patience shortens, your temper rises, and your judgment becomes clouded. Small problems feel heavy, and simple challenges feel impossible. But after a full night of sleep, those same problems shrink, and what once seemed unbearable becomes manageable. This is the power of the warrior's rest. It does not remove battles from your life, but it equips you to face them with strength, courage, and clarity. If you wish to train your mind while you sleep, you must learn to see rest not as weakness, but as preparation. You must protect your sleep the way a warrior protects his weapon, with respect and discipline. Create an environment that allows your body and mind to truly rest. Guard your last thoughts of the day so they strengthen you rather than weaken you. And most importantly, Do not fall into the modern lie that sleeplessness is power. It is not. Power comes from balance, victory comes from recovery, and mastery of the self comes from understanding that rest is not the opposite of discipline, it is the completion of discipline. Sleep is the warrior's rest. It is the shield that guards your spirit, the sword that sharpens your mind, and the foundation that carries you into battle each morning. To deny it is to weaken yourself. To embrace it is to prepare yourself for triumph. Every night you surrender to sleep with intention and discipline, you rise the next morning stronger, sharper, and more unshakable than before. Chapter 5. Lucid Sleep. Directing the mind at night. There is a hidden doorway within sleep that most people pass through without ever noticing. It is a state called lucid dreaming, and within it lies one of the most powerful opportunities for training the mind. Normally, when you dream, you are carried along like a passenger in a strange story. You do not control the events, you simply experience them. But in a lucid dream, something remarkable happens. You become aware that you are dreaming. This realization gives you the ability to guide the dream, to shape its direction, and to use it as a space for exploration, learning, and transformation. Imagine falling into a dream where you are running from a fear, perhaps being chased or overwhelmed. In an ordinary dream, you would continue to run until you woke up sweating and anxious, but in a lucid dream, you could stop, turn around, and face what is chasing you. You could transform the dream into a lesson of courage, discovering that the very thing you feared was only an illusion. This is the gift of lucid sleep. It allows you to rehearse bravery, strength, and control in the one place where there are no real consequences. The battles you fight in your dreams become preparation for the challenges you face in waking life. Throughout history, lucid dreaming has been spoken of in many traditions. Ancient Buddhist monks used dream yoga as a spiritual practice, believing that awareness within dreams could bring them closer to enlightenment. Indigenous cultures saw dreams as gateways to wisdom, where ancestors or spirits could communicate lessons. Even modern science has confirmed that people can practice skills in lucid dreams, and when they awaken, their performance in those skills improves. Athletes have visualized movements, musicians have rehearsed pieces, and creators have imagined solutions, all within the freedom of dreams. The subconscious mind does not fully distinguish between imagined practice and physical practice, so training in a lucid dream strengthens neural pathways in much the same way as training in waking reality. Lucid sleep also gives you the rare chance to communicate directly with your subconscious. Because you are aware while dreaming, you can ask questions, seek guidance, or explore aspects of your mind that remain hidden when awake. For example, you might ask yourself within a dream what truly holds you back, and the subconscious may reveal an answer in symbolic form. You might discover a memory, an image, or a message that gives you clarity about your life. The experience is often profound, leaving you with insights that feel deeper than ordinary thought. But how can you reach this state? The doorway to lucid dreaming is awareness. One method is to practice reality checks during the day. Small questions you ask yourself, such as, "Am I dreaming right now?" When this habit becomes strong, you may carry it into sleep, and during a dream, you will suddenly realize, "Yes, I am dreaming." Another method is intention setting before bed. As you close your eyes, tell yourself, "Tonight, I will recognize my dream." This simple suggestion can plant a seed in your subconscious, increasing the chance of awareness when the dream begins. Meditation also helps, for a quiet and observant mind in waking life is more likely to remain aware in the dream state. Once inside a lucid dream, the possibilities expand. You can confront fears by choosing to face them directly. You can rehearse confidence by imagining yourself speaking with strength or succeeding in a goal. You can even explore creativity by asking your subconscious to show you new ideas. Some people fly in their dreams, using it as a symbol of freedom. Others build places of peace where they can rest in serenity. The dream world becomes a canvas, and you become both the painter and the explorer. Lucid sleep is not simply a fantasy escape, it is a tool for growth. It teaches you that awareness is powerful, even in the most unlikely places. If you can awaken in a dream and take control of it, then you can also awaken in your daily life and take control of it. The lesson of lucid dreaming extends beyond sleep. It shows you that you are not a passive passenger in life's story. You are the author. Just as you can direct a dream once you realize it is a dream, you can direct your life once you realize you are in control. To train your mind while you sleep is not only about resting or processing memories, it is also about using these extraordinary states of consciousness as hidden training grounds. Lucid sleep is a private dojo, a sacred classroom, a limitless arena where you can practice courage, rehearse victories, and discover the hidden corners of your mind. Each time you experience it, you return to waking life a little stronger, a little clearer, and a little more aware of your true power. Chapter 6. Guarding the Gates of the Night. The moments before sleep are some of the most underestimated and yet most powerful hours of your entire day. Most people treat bedtime casually, as if it were nothing more than the end of their routines, a time to scroll endlessly on their phone, to argue, to dwell on worries, or to let their minds wander aimlessly. But the truth is that the last thoughts, images, and emotions you carry into sleep act as the gatekeepers of your night. They determine not only the quality of your dreams, but also the depth of your rest, the strength of your subconscious programming, and even the kind of person you are becoming. If you want to train your mind while you sleep, you must learn to guard these gates carefully, because whatever passes through them enters directly into the fertile soil of your subconscious, where it will take root and grow. Imagine standing at the entrance of a fortress. Inside that fortress lies your subconscious mind, a place of enormous power, one that shapes your beliefs, influences your habits, and directs your actions. The moments before sleep are the gates to that fortress, and you are the guard. Yet many people fail at this task. They leave the gates wide open and allow anything to enter. News filled with fear, arguments filled with anger, random noise from television or social media. These intruders slip into the fortress without resistance. Once inside, they plant themselves deep into the subconscious, where they echo all night long, multiplying their influence. It is no wonder that people who fall asleep to chaos often wake up anxious, restless, and unprepared for the day. But when you understand the sacred role of guarding these gates, everything changes. You realize that you have the power to choose what enters. You can decide to end your day with gratitude instead of complaint, with peace instead of turmoil, with hope instead of fear. And what you allow in during these final minutes becomes magnified while you sleep. A simple thought of thankfulness can grow into a calmer, more content mindset by morning. A quiet prayer or affirmation can echo through your subconscious, building resilience and strength. Just as a seed planted in fertile soil grows silently overnight, the seeds of your last waking thoughts blossom while you rest, shaping the person you will be tomorrow. Think for a moment about the way you currently end your day. Do you scroll endlessly through images and headlines that fill your mind with negativity? Do you replay conversations in your head, keeping anger alive long after the words were spoken? Do you allow worry to spiral, imagining problems that may never come? Each of these habits is like handing weapons to your enemies and inviting them into your fortress. They weaken you, disturb your peace, and set the stage for restless nights. On the other hand, when you deliberately replace these habits with empowering rituals, you reclaim control. Instead of scrolling, you might write down 3 things you are grateful for. Instead of replaying arguments, you might forgive and release them. Instead of drowning in worry, you might visualize the life you want to build. These small acts are not meaningless. They are the very tools of a warrior guarding his gates. Guarding the gates of the night also means creating an environment that protects your rest. Just as a fortress is built with walls and watchtowers, you must build boundaries around your sleep. Dim the lights, keep distractions away, and allow your body to sense that it is safe to rest. The mind and body are deeply connected, and when you signal through your environment that it is time for calm, your subconscious responds. Silence, darkness, and simplicity are not luxuries. They are weapons of discipline. They strengthen the walls of your fortress, ensuring that only what you intentionally allow in can enter. The greatest danger is not that people fail to guard their gates once, but that they make it a habit. Night after night of chaos before sleep compounds into a restless mind, weak focus, and emotional imbalance. But the opposite is also true. Night after night of discipline, gratitude, and clarity compounds into strength, confidence, and peace. The difference between these two paths lies in whether you choose to be a careless sleeper or a conscious guardian. It is said that discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. In the moments before sleep, this discipline is tested. What you may want now is distraction, comfort, or indulgence. But what you truly want most is strength, clarity, and peace. To guard the gates of the night is to choose wisely, to remember that the final thoughts of today become the foundation of tomorrow. When you understand this, you will begin to treat bedtime not as a casual afterthought, but as a sacred ritual. You will respect it as the most important meeting you have each day, the meeting with your own subconscious. You will approach it with intention, choosing carefully what enters the fortress of your mind. And when you do, you will find that each morning you rise not weaker, not restless, but stronger, clearer, and more prepared to conquer life. Sleep is not simply rest, it is transformation, and the gates of the night are the doorway to that transformation. Guard them with wisdom, guard them with discipline, guard them as a warrior guards his most valuable treasure, because within those gates lies your mind, your spirit, and your destiny. Chapter 7. Awakening with a renewed mind. The true measure of training your mind while you sleep is revealed not in the silence of the night, but in the moment your eyes open to the light of morning. For many people, waking up is nothing more than a physical act. The alarm rings, the body stirs, and the day begins in a haze of repetition. But for those who understand the power of sleep, waking is not simply a return to activity, it is a rebirth. Each morning is a chance to rise with a mind that is stronger than it was yesterday, a spirit that is lighter, and a heart that is prepared for whatever the day may bring. Awakening is not just about opening your eyes, it is about stepping into life with clarity, discipline, and renewed strength. Think of how you feel on the mornings after deep, intentional sleep compared to the mornings after nights of restlessness. On restless mornings, your body feels heavy, your mind clouded, and your emotions fragile. Small inconveniences irritate you, decisions feel difficult, and the day already seems overwhelming before it has even begun. But after deep and restorative sleep, everything is different. You open your eyes with a sense of calm instead of chaos. Your body feels lighter, your thoughts are clearer, and even your emotions are steadier. The same problems may still exist in your life, but you meet them with a stronger posture, a calmer mind, and an inner steadiness that cannot be easily shaken. This is the power of awakening with a renewed mind. It does not remove life's challenges, but it transforms you into the kind of person who can face them with wisdom and courage. When you rise in the morning, you are carrying the results of the work your subconscious has been doing all night. If you guarded the gates of your mind before sleep, planted positive seeds, and allowed your brain and body to restore themselves fully, you awaken with those benefits already imprinted upon you. You may feel more confident because your subconscious has been rehearsing strength. You may feel more peaceful because your emotions have been healed through dreams. You may feel sharper because your brain has sorted and stored yesterday's knowledge into long-term memory. What happens in sleep never stays in sleep. It flows into every part of your waking life. Awakening with a renewed mind is also about perspective. A weak or careless mind opens its eyes and immediately searches for problems. It sees the to-do list, the obstacles, the conflicts, and it begins the day already defeated. But a trained mind opens its eyes and searches for purpose. It asks, what is today for? What can I achieve? How can I grow stronger? This shift in perspective is not accidental. It is the result of intentional sleep, disciplined thoughts before bed, and a commitment to treat each night as training rather than escape. When you have trained your mind during the night, the morning becomes your proving ground. The way you start your morning shapes the rest of the day. If you awaken and rush immediately into distraction, scrolling, worrying, or complaining, you hand away the strength your sleep gave you. But if you awaken with stillness, with gratitude, and with focus, you extend the benefits of sleep into every moment that follows. You carry the discipline of the night into the daylight. For this reason, it is not enough to sleep well. You must also rise well. How you greet the morning determines whether your night of training becomes a tool for growth or a wasted opportunity. Consider the symbolism of morning itself. Every sunrise is a reminder that no matter how dark the night was, light always returns. Life itself is built upon cycles of renewal. Seasons change, tides rise and fall, and each day ends only to begin again. In the same way, every morning gives you a chance to begin anew. You are not bound to yesterday's mistakes, nor are you trapped by yesterday's fears. If you used your night wisely, you wake with a clean slate, empowered to take control of your day. The person you were yesterday is gone. The person you choose to be today is entirely within your reach. But this renewal is not automatic. It must be recognized and embraced. Too many people miss it, rushing through mornings as though they were meaningless. But the one who pauses, who breathes deeply, who sets intention upon waking, captures the full gift of sleep. You can remind yourself, even in those first quiet moments, that you are not simply waking up. You are rising stronger, clearer, and more capable. This small act of awareness transforms the morning from routine into ritual, from habit into power. Awakening with a renewed mind is the culmination of everything you have learned about sleep. It is the reward for guarding the gates of your night, for programming your subconscious with strength, for allowing your dreams to heal your emotions, and for respecting rest as a warrior respects his weapon. All of these practices come together in the moment your eyes open, gifting you a mind that is not tired or weak, but sharpened and ready. This is why those who train their minds in sleep live differently. They approach the day not with hesitation, but with focus. They face challenges not with panic, but with calm. They see opportunities not with doubt, but with readiness. When you begin to experience this kind of awakening, you understand that sleep is not wasted time. It is an investment. Every night you spend in intentional rest pays you back tenfold in the strength of your mornings. And every morning you rise with a renewed mind, you multiply that strength into the rest of your day. To awaken with a renewed mind is to remind yourself daily that life is not about dragging yourself from one day to the next. It is about rising each morning as though the world has given you a fresh beginning, as though you are being invited once again to step forward with courage. Sleep gives you that gift. Your only task is to protect it, respect it, and use it wisely. When you do, you will find that every sunrise feels less like repetition and more like rebirth. Chapter 8. The Eternal Cycle of Night and Day. Life is built upon rhythms, and nowhere is this more evident than in the endless dance between night and day. Just as the sun rises and sets, your mind and body move through cycles of activity and rest, effort and renewal, tension and release. Too often, people live as if night and day are separate, disconnected pieces, when in truth, they are one continuous cycle that feeds itself. The quality of your day shapes your night, and the quality of your night shapes your day. To truly train your mind while you sleep, you must learn to see this cycle not as two halves of life, but as one whole, flowing rhythm. During the day, your conscious mind is at work. You make decisions, you face challenges, you speak, act, and move through the visible world. You gather knowledge, you experience emotions, and you plant the seeds of your behavior. But at night, when the conscious self retreats, your subconscious continues the work in silence. It waters the seeds you planted, it organizes the lessons you gathered, and it strengthens the emotions you rehearsed. Morning does not erase the night. It reveals the results of the night's hidden labor. If you used your day with intention, your night multiplies it. If you wasted your day in distraction, your night magnifies that as well. This is why the wise see sleep not as the end of the day, but as the preparation for the next. The cycle is eternal, each part flowing into the other. A strong morning leads to a disciplined day. A disciplined day leads to a peaceful night. A peaceful night leads to a powerful awakening. And the cycle continues, building upon itself layer after layer until your very life is transformed. The mistake most people make is to treat these cycles casually, breaking them with carelessness. They burn through the day with no awareness, collapse into restless nights, and then wake to mornings that feel heavy and uninspired. Over time, their lives become cycles of fatigue and imbalance, and they wonder why their strength feels absent. To master this eternal cycle is to treat both day and night as sacred. The way you rise in the morning sets the tone for everything that follows. If you begin with clarity, stillness, and purpose, your mind is aligned to act with strength. As the day unfolds, you face challenges with patience and awareness, knowing that every action is planting seeds that your subconscious will work on later. And when the night arrives, you treat it as the training ground, guarding your thoughts, protecting your peace, and allowing your brain and spirit to renew themselves fully. This cycle is not accidental. It is nature's design for human strength. Look at the natural world, and you will see this truth everywhere. The earth itself rests at night, cooling and preparing for the sun's return. Plants close their flowers, conserving energy until daylight. Animals retreat into dens, nests, or quiet places, restoring their strength. Even the oceans move with tides, rising and falling in rhythm with the moon. You are not separate from this design. You are part of it. To fight against it, to ignore the need for rhythm, is to fight against the very laws of life. But to live in harmony with it is to unlock a strength that feels effortless, because you are aligned with the way life was meant to flow. The eternal cycle of night and day also teaches you humility. It reminds you that no matter how powerful, ambitious, or restless you are, you cannot escape the need to rest. Even kings must sleep. Even warriors must lay down their swords. Even the most brilliant minds cannot continue without surrendering to the silence of night. Sleep is life's way of telling you that strength does not come from endless action, but from the balance of action and recovery. Night is not weakness, it is wisdom. When you begin to see this cycle clearly, you stop resisting it. You stop thinking of sleep as lost time or wasted hours. Instead, you begin to honor both your days and your nights equally, knowing that each one prepares the other. You realize that every morning you rise, you are reaping the results of the previous night, and every night you fall asleep, you are planting the foundation of tomorrow. With this awareness, you live differently. You move with purpose during the day because you know it will echo in your sleep. You rest with intention at night because you know it will shape your tomorrow. The cycle becomes your ally, your rhythm of strength, your silent teacher. To train your mind while you sleep is powerful, but to align your entire life with the eternal cycle of night and day is mastery. You no longer see waking and sleeping as opposites, but as partners in your growth. You no longer waste mornings or evenings, but treat them both as sacred opportunities. And as you live in this rhythm, you find that your strength grows steadily, quietly, and unshakably, because you are no longer fighting the flow of life, you are moving with it. Chapter 9. The Night as a Mirror of the Soul. When the world grows quiet and darkness spreads across the sky, something profound begins to happen within you. The distractions of the day fade away, the noise of responsibilities dies down, and for the first time you are left alone with yourself. It is in this silence, in this stillness, that the night becomes a mirror, one that reflects not only the state of your body, but the condition of your soul. The way you sleep, the thoughts you carry into rest, and the quality of your dreams are all reflections of who you are becoming. If your mind is restless, your nights will reveal it. If your heart is burdened, your sleep will carry that weight. But if you cultivate peace, discipline, and intention during the day, the night will reflect it back to you in calmness, renewal, and clarity. Most people misunderstand the night. They think of it only as an interruption, as the end of their waking hours. They try to prolong the day, stretching it with endless distractions, as though resisting the call of rest would somehow make them stronger. But in truth, the night is not an interruption of life. It is part of its rhythm. The night is where the soul speaks, where the subconscious heals, where the body restores, and where the mind is sharpened. To deny this is to deny one of the most powerful gifts of life. Think about how you feel when you lie in bed with unresolved worries. The mind races. You replay conversations, regret decisions, or imagine problems that may never come. Sleep becomes shallow, dreams become chaotic, and you awaken exhausted rather than renewed. This is not simply poor sleep. It is the night reflecting the unrest of your soul. On the other hand, think about the times when you went to bed with gratitude, calmness, or faith. Your body relaxed, your breathing slowed, your dreams became lighter, and you woke refreshed. Again, this is not an accident. It is the mirror of the night, showing you the condition of your inner world. The truth is that you cannot hide from yourself at night. During the day, you can cover restlessness with busyness. You can hide your insecurities with smiles, and you can distract yourself with noise. But when the darkness falls and the world grows still, there is nothing left to cover you but your own thoughts. The night strips away pretense. It reveals the reality of your inner life. This is why so many people dread silence. They fear meeting themselves. And yet, if you learn to face yourself honestly at night, you discover that the night is not an enemy to be feared, but a teacher to be embraced. The night as a mirror also reminds us of the importance of alignment. If your actions during the day are out of alignment with your values, your sleep will reflect it back to you. A dishonest choice, a careless word, or an unresolved conflict will echo in your subconscious as you lie awake, unable to find peace. Guilt and regret often surface at night because the mind, no longer distracted, finally forces you to confront what you tried to ignore. But when you live in alignment, when your words match your beliefs and your actions match your intentions, the night becomes gentle. Sleep arrives easily, and the mirror reflects back balance rather than conflict. Even your dreams can serve as messages from this mirror of the soul. Though not always literal, they often carry symbols of what lies beneath your conscious awareness. A recurring dream may reveal unresolved emotions. A peaceful dream may reveal harmony within. A nightmare may point to fears you have refused to acknowledge. To dismiss these dreams as meaningless is to ignore the voice of your subconscious, which speaks most clearly when the conscious self has gone silent. Keeping a dream journal or simply reflecting upon what you experienced during sleep can open your eyes to patterns and truths about your own life that you may otherwise miss. On a deeper level, the night teaches you humility. It reminds you that no matter how much control you try to exert over your life, there comes a time each day when you must surrender. You must close your eyes, release your grip, and trust that the world will carry on without you. In this surrender, you are reminded that you are not infinite, that you are not meant to be endlessly active. You are reminded that strength is not only about striving, but also about letting go. The mirror of the night shows you how well you can surrender, whether you resist it with restlessness or embrace it with peace. If you wish to strengthen your mind through sleep, you must learn to prepare yourself for this mirror. Just as you would not want to look into a physical mirror while covered in dirt, you should not look into the mirror of the night while covered in anger, chaos, or worry. Prepare yourself with rituals that bring calmness, gratitude, prayer, reflection, or even deep breathing. These practices are like washing the soul before looking into the mirror, ensuring that what you see is clear and not distorted by the day's debris. By ending your day with intention, you give the night a chance to reflect back to you, not chaos, but clarity, not unrest, but renewal. The night as a mirror also reveals the deeper truth that you are always in training, whether you realize it or not. Every thought, every choice, every habit you build during the day is reflected back to you at night. If you discipline your mind by day, your nights reward you with peaceful rest. If you let your mind run wild, your nights become a battlefield of restless thoughts. In this way, sleep is not separate from your waking life. It is the continuation of it. The mirror does not create what it shows. It only reveals what is already there. There is a story told of a man who feared the night because he was tormented by sleeplessness and nightmares. He went to a wise teacher and asked, "Why do the nights punish me so?" The teacher replied, "The night does not punish you. It only reveals you." The noise you refuse to face in the daylight grows louder in the silence of darkness. If you wish for the nights to be calm, you must first calm your days. The man eventually understood that his restless nights were not a curse but a message, guiding him to live more mindfully, to resolve conflicts, to embrace gratitude, and to find balance. Over time, the night became his ally rather than his tormentor. So it is with you. If you want to wake with strength, if you want to train your mind while you sleep, you must learn to treat the night as a sacred mirror. Do not fear what it shows you. Instead, use it to grow. If your nights are restless, see it as a signal that something within needs attention. If your nights are peaceful, see it as confirmation that you are aligned. Either way, the night is always teaching you, always reflecting, always guiding. To live without awareness of this truth is to stumble through life blind to one of its greatest teachers. But to live with awareness is to see each night as an opportunity. Every time you close your eyes, you are entering not just rest, but reflection. Every morning you wake, you carry with you the lessons of the mirror. The cycle continues, shaping you quietly, powerfully, and unavoidably. The night is not empty. It is not wasted time. It is a mirror of the soul, showing you who you are and who you are becoming. If you honor it, if you prepare for it, and if you learn from it, you will discover that each night makes you wiser, calmer, and stronger. You will realize that the path to mastery does not always lie in constant struggle, but in reflection, surrender, and the silent power of sleep. And as you live in harmony with this mirror, you will find that every morning you awaken not only refreshed, but renewed, not only rested, but transformed. Chapter 10. Surrender, the hidden power of letting go at night. At the heart of sleep lies one simple but profound act: surrender. Every night, without exception, you are asked to release control, to let go of the endless stream of thoughts, the burdens of the day, and the illusion that you must always remain in charge. You close your eyes and step into darkness, not knowing what dreams will come, not controlling what your brain will process, not directing the work of your body as it heals and repairs. You surrender, and in that surrender, you find restoration. This act, repeated every night, is one of the most powerful lessons sleep has to offer. For in learning to let go at night, you are also training yourself to let go in life. Many people resist this surrender. They fight against the silence of night. They carry their work into bed, replay conversations, dwell on regrets, and imagine future disasters. They treat the bed not as a place of peace, but as another battlefield for their restless mind. And what happens? They toss and turn. They wake in the middle of the night, exhausted and anxious. Their bodies may lie down, but their minds refuse to release. This refusal to let go robs them of sleep's true power. Instead of being renewed, they wake weary. Instead of being restored, they wake broken. To understand the hidden power of surrender, imagine holding a heavy stone in your hand. At first, the weight may feel manageable, but as time passes, the burden grows unbearable. The only relief comes when you release the stone. In the same way, your worries, fears, and frustrations are heavy stones that you carry all day long. Sleep is the invitation to put them down, to release them into the silence of the night. If you refuse, the weight does not vanish. It carries into tomorrow, heavier than before. But if you surrender, the weight lifts. You awaken lighter, clearer, and ready to face life with renewed energy. Surrender at night is not about weakness. It is about wisdom. It is the recognition that there are forces at work beyond your conscious control. Your brain knows how to repair itself. Your subconscious knows how to process emotions. Your body knows how to heal. You do not need to manage these processes. You only need to allow them. The one thing that can interfere is your refusal to let go. Think about how a wound heals. You do not stand over it demanding it close faster. You clean it, protect it, and trust your body to do the rest. Sleep works the same way. You prepare your mind with calm thoughts, create a peaceful environment, and then trust the process. That trust, that surrender, is the key that unlocks sleep's deepest benefits. This lesson extends far beyond the bedroom. The ability to let go is one of the most powerful mental skills you can develop. Life is filled with things outside of your control. Other people's actions, the outcomes of events, the twists of fate. If you cling to them, you drain yourself with worry and frustration. But if you surrender what is beyond your control, you free your energy for what you can influence. Sleep trains you in this discipline every night. Each time you release the day and allow yourself to rest, you are rehearsing the art of letting go. And the more you practice, the stronger you become at applying it in waking life. Think about the greatest struggles you have faced. How many of them became lighter only after you accepted them rather than fought against them? How many times did clarity come not in the middle of frantic thought, but after you stopped forcing solutions and allowed your mind to rest? Surrender does not mean giving up. It means trusting the process of life. It means acknowledging that you are not meant to carry everything alone. And just as your body heals when you surrender to sleep, your life heals when you surrender unnecessary control. Science itself confirms this. When you let go of stress before bed through practices like deep breathing, meditation, prayer, or gratitude, your body lowers its stress hormones. Your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, and your brain enters the cycles of deep sleep that restore energy and focus. But when you resist surrender, when you cling to thoughts, replay mistakes, or fear the future, your body remains in a state of tension. Cortisol floods your system, your heart races, and your sleep remains shallow. By morning, you have not trained your mind, you have weakened it. This is why surrender is not optional. It is a requirement for strength. The great irony is that the more you resist letting go, the weaker you become, while the more you surrender, the stronger you awaken. Letting go at night is not about ignoring your responsibilities. It is about trusting that rest itself is part of your responsibility. Tomorrow will demand your energy. your focus, and your discipline. You cannot give those things if you deplete yourself by refusing to surrender tonight. Sleep is the training ground for tomorrow's battles, and surrender is the doorway to enter it. There is also a spiritual depth to this act of surrender. In many traditions, the night is seen as a time of returning the soul to the care of something greater. You close your eyes, releasing the illusion that you are in control of everything, and you trust. Whether you call it nature, the universe, or God, the truth is that every night you entrust your life into the hands of a power beyond yourself. Each morning you awaken is proof that this trust was not misplaced. To resist surrender is to deny this rhythm. To embrace it is to live in harmony with it. Practical ways of cultivating surrender can become powerful rituals. Writing down your worries before bed is like placing your stones on the ground rather than carrying them into sleep. Practicing gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, releasing the mind from endless striving. Breathing deeply and slowly signals to your body that it is safe, that it can let go. Even a simple phrase repeated quietly, "I release this day," can open the door to deeper rest. Each of these practices is an act of surrender, training your subconscious to release instead of resist. The hidden power of surrender lies in its paradox. By letting go, you gain strength. By closing your eyes, you awaken sharper. By releasing control, you discover a deeper form of control, the control of your own state of mind. This is the lesson sleep teaches every night, though many ignore it. When you finally understand it, you stop fighting against rest. You stop fearing silence. You stop treating surrender as weakness. Instead, you embrace it as the foundation of true strength. And so, each night when you lie down, remember this truth. Sleep is not simply rest, it is training. It is your chance to practice surrender, to release the burdens of the day, and to trust in the hidden processes that strengthen you. The night invites you to let go, not as escape, but as preparation. Every morning you rise after surrendering fully. You rise not broken but renewed, not defeated but ready. The warrior who refuses to rest will fall, but the warrior who surrenders wisely at night will always awaken prepared for victory. Chapter 11. The Silent Teacher, Learning from the Darkness. There is a teacher that speaks to you every night, though its voice is so quiet that most people never hear it. This teacher does not stand before you in daylight, does not use books or lectures, and does not call attention to itself. It comes when the sun sets, when the noise of the world fades, and when you are left in the stillness of your own mind. That teacher is the night itself, and it teaches not through noise but through silence, not through activity but through rest. If you learn to listen to this silent teacher, you will discover that sleep is not only a time of renewal, it is also a classroom where the deepest lessons of strength, patience, and clarity are taught. Darkness has always carried meaning for humanity. Ancient civilizations looked at the night sky not with fear, but with reverence, seeing in the stars messages of eternity. Poets wrote of the night as a time of mystery, philosophers spoke of it as a time of reflection, and spiritual seekers withdrew into it for contemplation. Yet in our modern age, many people have forgotten this wisdom. They flood the night with artificial light, drown its silence with endless noise, and resist the darkness as though it were an enemy. In doing so, they miss the teachings that the night offers freely to those willing to surrender. The first lesson of the silent teacher is patience. The night does not rush. It unfolds slowly, gently. The sky darkens, the air cools, the stars emerge one by one, and the world gradually sinks into stillness. Sleep, too, cannot be forced. You cannot command it to arrive at will. It comes only when you allow it, when you prepare yourself, and when you stop fighting against it. This is a reflection of life itself. Just as you cannot force the sun to rise faster, you cannot force success, healing, or growth to happen instantly. The night teaches you to wait, to trust the process, and to understand that some things require time. In a world obsessed with speed and instant results, the patience of the night is a rare and vital lesson. The second lesson of the silent teacher is humility. No matter how powerful, busy, or ambitious you may be, there comes a moment each day when you must stop. You must lay down your tools, close your eyes, and surrender. This is the night's way of reminding you that you are human, not a machine. Even kings must sleep. Even warriors must rest. Even the strongest minds must grow silent. The night strips away the illusion that you are in control of everything. In the darkness, there is no audience to impress, no stage to perform on, no competition to win. There is only you, vulnerable and at rest. This humility is not weakness, it is truth, and by embracing it, you become stronger, because you learn to balance power with surrender. The third lesson of the silent teacher is clarity. During the day, your mind is filled with noise, conversations, responsibilities, decisions, distractions. It is difficult to hear your deeper thoughts in such chaos. But in the stillness of night, when the world quiets, your own inner voice grows louder. This is why so many people have sudden insights or creative breakthroughs at night. The silence gives space for truth to emerge. Your subconscious, freed from constant interference, begins to speak. Sometimes it speaks through dreams, sometimes through feelings, sometimes through a quiet sense of knowing. If you are willing to listen, the night can reveal answers that eluded you during the busyness of the day. The fourth lesson is discipline. Many people waste the night, treating it as a time for indulgence rather than restoration. They stay up long past their body's natural rhythm, flood their senses with screens and noise, and then wonder why they wake exhausted and unprepared. The silent teacher does not punish them. It simply reflects their choices. A lack of discipline at night becomes weakness in the morning. But for those who guard their nights carefully, who treat the final hours of the day as sacred, discipline multiplies. Sleep becomes deeper, mornings become stronger, and the cycle of strength grows. To respect the night is to respect yourself. To waste it is to weaken yourself. The fifth lesson is acceptance. The night reminds you that darkness is not to be feared but embraced. Too often people run from the dark, both literally and metaphorically. They fear silence, they fear stillness, and they fear being alone with their thoughts. But it is in darkness that stars shine. It is in silence that wisdom arises. It is in solitude that you truly meet yourself. To accept the night is to accept that life is not only about light, noise, and activity. It is also about rest, reflection, and stillness. This acceptance builds resilience because you no longer fear the dark corners of life. Instead, you recognize them as necessary parts of the whole. Learning from the silent teacher requires awareness. You must approach the night not as an afterthought, but as a ritual, a classroom in which you are both the student and the subject. How do you prepare yourself before bed? What thoughts do you carry into sleep? Do you respect the silence, or do you drown it with distraction? Do you use the darkness as an opportunity for reflection, or do you run from it? Your answers to these questions determine whether you learn from the silent teacher or ignore it. There is a story of a wise monk who told his students, "At night, the world reveals its true self." They asked him what he meant. He replied, "During the day, the world wears masks, noise, busyness, distraction. But at night, all masks fall away. The night shows you reality. If you cannot sit with yourself in silence, you do not yet know yourself." The students understood that the night was not simply the absence of light, but the presence of truth. In your own life, you can begin to learn from the silent teacher by creating space for stillness before sleep. Instead of flooding your mind with the noise of screens, close your eyes in quiet reflection. Instead of dwelling on regrets or fears, release them with gratitude. Instead of resisting the darkness, embrace it as part of life's rhythm. As you do, you will begin to notice changes. Sleep will come more easily. Dreams will carry more meaning. Mornings will feel lighter. Most importantly, you will carry into your waking life the lessons of patience, humility, clarity, discipline, and acceptance. The night is not your enemy. It is not wasted time. It is a teacher, silently offering wisdom that can transform your life if you are willing to listen. To train your mind while you sleep is to allow this teacher to do its work. Each night, as you surrender, you are entering a classroom without walls, a lesson without words, a silence that speaks louder than any noise. And with each morning you awaken, you carry those lessons with you, stronger, wiser, and more at peace. Chapter 12. The Alchemy of the Night, Turning Rest into Power. There is a mysterious process that happens each night, hidden from the eyes of the waking world. While your body lies still and your conscious mind slips into silence, a kind of alchemy begins to unfold. Just as alchemists once dreamed of turning base metals into gold, your brain and spirit transform the ordinary struggles, memories, and emotions of the day into something higher: strength, clarity, and wisdom. Sleep is not simply rest, it is alchemy. It takes the raw material of your experiences, your thoughts, and your feelings, and it refines them into fuel for growth. To understand this is to realize that the night is not passive. It is active, powerful, and transformative. It is the hidden forge in which your mind is shaped. Think for a moment about the difference between a person who respects this alchemy and one who ignores it. The one who ignores it treats sleep as a nuisance, something to cut short, something to push aside in pursuit of more work, more entertainment, more distractions. They fill their nights with noise, overstimulation, and chaos. When they wake, they feel heavy, restless, and unprepared. Their days are marked by poor focus, weak decisions, and emotional instability. They repeat this cycle again and again, weakening themselves without realizing that they are sabotaging their own strength. But the one who respects sleep understands that the night is not wasted time, it is an investment. They prepare for it carefully, treating it like entering a sacred chamber. They feed their subconscious with gratitude, reflection, and calm, and in return, they awaken not only rested, but renewed, carrying with them the golden results of the night's alchemy. This transformation begins with the body. During deep sleep, your physical self undergoes processes that are nothing short of miraculous. Cells regenerate, tissues heal, and energy reserves are restored. Hormones essential for growth, repair, and resilience are released in balanced rhythms. Even your immune system strengthens, preparing you to face the challenges of the next day. But this is only the beginning. The real alchemy lies in what happens to your mind and spirit. Memories are sorted, useless fragments discarded, and valuable knowledge is reinforced. Emotions are processed, their sharp edges softened, their overwhelming power reduced. What was confusing yesterday may appear clearer today, not because the problem has changed, but because your perspective has been sharpened in the silence of sleep. Consider the countless people who have found solutions to problems in their dreams. Artists who awoke with melodies in their heads, inventors who saw designs in visions of the night, writers who discovered entire stories in sleep. These are not accidents, they are examples of the subconscious performing alchemy, weaving together fragments of thought into new patterns of brilliance. What the conscious mind struggles to achieve with effort, the subconscious often creates effortlessly when given the quiet of sleep. This is why the night has been called a muse by poets, a guide by sages, and a secret ally by thinkers throughout history. But the alchemy of the night is not only about brilliance or creativity, it is also about resilience. The struggles you endure each day, stress, conflict, failure, are heavy metals. Left untreated, they weigh you down, corrode your peace, and weaken your resolve. But when you surrender to sleep with intention, your mind begins to transform these struggles. Stress becomes learning, failure becomes wisdom, conflict becomes perspective, pain becomes strength. You awaken not carrying the same weight, but carrying a refined version of it, one that makes you stronger rather than weaker. This is the alchemy that takes place in silence, hidden from your awareness, but deeply felt in your being. To benefit from this alchemy, however, you must participate in it. Just as alchemists needed the right conditions for their experiments, you must create the right conditions for your night. This means guarding the final hours of your day carefully. Do not poison the alchemy with chaos, negativity, or overstimulation. Instead, offer your subconscious the raw materials it can use for transformation: peaceful thoughts, gratitude, affirmations, and clarity of intention. Reflect on your day not with regret, but with learning. Plant visions of who you want to become, and allow the night to shape those visions into reality. The mind cannot refine what you do not give it. If you feed it poison, you will wake weaker. If you feed it gold, you will wake stronger. The alchemy of the night also reveals the importance of trust. When you sleep, you cannot see the work being done. You cannot measure each repair, each memory, each emotional release. You must trust the process, knowing that your body and mind were designed with this rhythm for a reason. Too often, people resist this trust. They stay up late, convinced that doing more will give them an edge. But this is an illusion. In truth, every hour of lost sleep robs them of focus, creativity, and resilience. They may accomplish more in the short term, but in the long term, they are weakening their own foundation. The one who trusts sleep, who embraces surrender, and who respects the alchemy of the night will always rise stronger. Even spiritually, this alchemy carries meaning. The night teaches you that growth often happens in silence, when you are not striving, when you are not in control. Just as seeds grow in the hidden soil, just as stars shine in the dark, transformation often occurs in places unseen. Sleep is a nightly reminder of this truth. You may not feel the changes as they happen, but each morning proves that they are real. You awaken lighter, clearer, and more resilient. The heavy metals of the day have been turned into the gold of wisdom and strength. There is an ancient story of a traveler who carried a heavy bag of stones everywhere he went. The load was so exhausting that he grew weaker with each passing day. One night, too tired to continue, he placed the bag beside him and fell asleep under the stars. When he awoke, he found that the stones had been transformed into bread and water, enough to nourish him for the journey ahead. In awe, he realized the lesson. If you surrender your burdens to the night, they are transformed into strength for tomorrow. But if you carry them endlessly, they will crush you. This story is the essence of sleep's alchemy. What you release at night becomes fuel for the day. To train your mind while you sleep is to participate in this alchemy with awareness. You are not simply a passive sleeper. You are the one who decides what materials the night will refine. You choose whether to give it chaos or peace, fear or faith, regret or gratitude. And in the morning, you receive back what you offered, multiplied and transformed. If you offer discipline, you wake with strength. If you offer gratitude, you wake with joy. If you offer vision, you wake with clarity. This is the golden exchange of the night. So as you prepare for each night, remember this truth. Sleep is not the end of your day. It is the beginning of your transformation. The alchemy of the night is always working, always refining, always strengthening. You cannot stop it, but you can guide it. And when you do, you will discover that every morning is not just another repetition of life, but a step forward, a chance to live with greater wisdom, greater power, and greater peace. Sleep is not just rest, it is the forge of your mind. Treat it with respect, and it will turn your ordinary days into extraordinary growth. Chapter 13. Dreams as Gateways to Transformation. Every night, when you close your eyes and drift beyond the reach of your conscious mind, you enter a world that is both familiar and mysterious. This world is not bound by the laws of time, gravity, or logic. Here you can fly without wings, speak to people who are no longer alive, revisit places long forgotten, or create landscapes that could never exist in waking life. This world is the realm of dreams, and for centuries it has fascinated humanity. Some have dismissed dreams as meaningless illusions, mere byproducts of the sleeping brain. Others have revered them as sacred messages, windows into the soul, or even glimpses of higher truths. But what is certain is this: dreams are not random. They are a vital part of the training and transformation of your mind. To ignore them is to ignore one of the most powerful gateways to self-discovery and growth. Dreams are the language of the subconscious. During the day, your conscious mind acts as the gatekeeper. It filters thoughts, judges ideas, suppresses emotions, and organizes behavior. But when you sleep, the conscious self steps aside, and the subconscious begins to speak freely. Its language is not straightforward. It does not speak in plain words, but in symbols, metaphors, and images. To the untrained eye, these symbols may appear chaotic or strange, but to the one who learns to listen, they reveal deep truths. A dream of being chased may reflect the fear you are running from in waking life. A dream of water may symbolize your emotions, calm if the water is still, overwhelming if it is stormy. A dream of flying may reveal your longing for freedom, while a dream of being trapped may reveal where you feel limited. In this way, dreams act as mirrors of your inner world, reflecting back what you may not have the courage or clarity to face while awake. But dreams are not only mirrors, they are also teachers. Think of the times when you woke from a dream with a sudden realization, as if your subconscious had been working on a problem while you rested. Artists, inventors, and thinkers throughout history have drawn inspiration from dreams. Paul McCartney dreamed the melody of Yesterday. The chemist Auguste Kekulé dreamed of a snake biting its tail and discovered the ring structure of benzene. Countless people have reported finding creative solutions to problems in their dreams, solutions that seemed impossible to reach through waking effort. This is because the subconscious mind does not obey the same rigid logic as the conscious. It can connect ideas in ways that seem unrelated, creating new patterns, insights, and possibilities. When you dream, you enter a limitless workshop of creativity and problem-solving, where boundaries vanish and imagination takes the lead. On a deeper level, dreams also function as healers. They allow you to process emotions that remain unresolved during the day. When you grieve, your dreams may replay moments with the one you lost, offering comfort or release. When you fear, your dreams may present that fear in symbolic form, allowing you to face it in safety. When you are burdened by stress, dreams may transform those pressures into stories that, while strange, allow your mind to work through the tension and find balance. The act of dreaming itself is therapeutic. It is a natural form of emotional regulation, a way of maintaining mental balance without conscious effort. You may not always remember your dreams, but their effects remain, shaping your mood, reducing your stress, and guiding your inner healing. But perhaps the most extraordinary aspect of dreams is their potential for transformation. In lucid dreams, where you become aware that you are dreaming, you have the rare chance to step into the driver's seat. Instead of being a passive observer, you can shape the dream. You can choose to fly, to create, to face fears, or to rehearse victories. Lucid dreams are like private training grounds where your subconscious becomes your ally, allowing you to practice strength, courage, or creativity in an environment where failure carries no consequence. Imagine practicing a speech in a lucid dream and waking with greater confidence. Imagine confronting a fear in the dream and waking with less anxiety. Imagine visualizing success so vividly that your subconscious begins to accept it as reality, making it easier to achieve while awake. These possibilities are not fantasies, they are real experiences reported by countless people who have learned to harness the power of lucid dreaming. The question then arises, how can you open this gateway more intentionally? How can you train yourself to use dreams not only as random experiences, but as tools for growth? The first step is awareness. Begin by valuing your dreams, treating them not as meaningless fragments, but as messages worth remembering. Keep a journal by your bed. Each morning, write down whatever you recall, even if it is only fragments. Over time, patterns will emerge. You will begin to notice recurring symbols, recurring emotions, and recurring themes. These are the language of your subconscious, speaking to you in ways that are deeply personal. The second step is intention. Before sleep, set a clear thought. Tonight, I will remember my dream, or tonight, I will find guidance. This small act of intention often plants a seed that blossoms into awareness during the dream itself. The third step is reflection. Do not take dreams literally, but reflect on what they might symbolize in your life. What is the emotion behind the image? What part of yourself is the dream asking you to face? Reflection transforms dreams from random stories into powerful lessons. There is also value in surrendering to the mystery of dreams. Not every dream will make sense, and not every dream will reveal its meaning immediately. Some may confuse you, others may disturb you, and some may vanish before you can recall them. But even in their mystery, dreams are working. They are processing, balancing, and healing. You do not always need to understand them to benefit from them. Just as the body heals a wound without you consciously directing each cell, the mind heals itself through dreams without you needing to control the process. Trust that even when you do not remember, your dreams are serving you. Spiritually, dreams have always been seen as gateways to something beyond. Many cultures have believed that dreams connect the human soul to higher realms, that in the silence of the night, we glimpse truths hidden from the waking world. Whether you see them as spiritual visions, subconscious messages, or simply natural processes of the brain, the result is the same. Dreams are transformative. They remind you that life is not only about the physical and visible, but also about the unseen and mysterious. They remind you that wisdom often comes in silence, in symbols, and in places where the conscious mind cannot go. If you truly wish to strengthen your mind while you sleep, you cannot ignore dreams. They are not just stories, they are gateways. They are opportunities to learn, to heal, to grow, and to transform. Each dream you experience is a chance to meet yourself more deeply, to understand what lies beneath the surface, and to shape the person you are becoming. When you dismiss them, you close the gateway. When you embrace them, you step into a realm where transformation is limitless. In the end, the night is not just a time for rest. It is a classroom, a healer, a forge, and above all, a gateway. Every dream is an invitation to explore your fears, to nurture your strengths, to awaken your creativity, and to connect with the deepest parts of yourself. To accept this invitation is to step into a life where sleep is no longer wasted, where rest is no longer passive, and where each night becomes a journey of transformation. And when you rise each morning, you rise not only refreshed, but renewed, carrying with you the wisdom of the gateway you pass through in the night. This is the true power of dreams. They are not just illusions. They are bridges between who you are and who you can become. To train your mind while you sleep is to cross these bridges night after night, until one day you awaken and realize that you have not simply slept. You have transformed. Chapter 14. The Architecture of the Sleeping Mind. When you close your eyes at night, you are not simply drifting into emptiness. You are entering a world of remarkable design, a landscape built of patterns, cycles, and rhythms that quietly shape the health of your body, the clarity of your thoughts, and the strength of your spirit. This hidden world is the architecture of the sleeping mind. Though you may not see it, though you may not remember it in detail, every night your mind follows a structured path of stages, each one serving a distinct purpose, each one building upon the last. To understand this architecture is to understand how sleep trains and strengthens you from within. Science divides sleep into several stages, each with its own role. The first is the light stage, the gentle descent into rest. Here, your body begins to relax, your heartbeat slows, and your muscles loosen. It is like stepping through the doorway of night, leaving behind the intensity of the day. Then comes deeper sleep, where the brain's activity slows dramatically. This is the time when your body does its most important physical repair work, healing tissues, strengthening the immune system, and restoring energy. Following this is REM sleep, the stage of vivid dreams, when your brain becomes almost as active as it is when awake. Here, memories are processed, emotions are balanced, and creativity is sparked. These stages repeat in cycles throughout the night, weaving together a tapestry of restoration and transformation. But this architecture is not random, it is carefully designed, and each stage is essential. Without light sleep, you cannot transition smoothly into deeper stages. Without deep sleep, your body weakens. Without REM sleep, your mind becomes fragile. When people cut their nights short, they rob themselves of these stages, breaking the structure of the night's design. It is like building a house and abandoning the foundation, or like writing a book and tearing out the most important chapters. You may think you have slept, but what you have really done is deprive yourself of the full architecture your mind requires. The architecture of sleep also explains why your habits before bed matter so much. When you flood your mind with stimulation, screens, arguments, or chaos, you disrupt the entry into the light stages, making it harder for your brain to descend into deeper rest. When you shorten your nights with late hours, you rob yourself of the cycles that would have repeated later, especially REM, which is critical for emotional health and creativity. In this way, careless choices break the design of sleep, leaving you weaker, more reactive, and less capable when morning comes. But when you honor the architecture, guarding your nights, preparing your mind, and surrendering to the rhythm, your sleep unfolds as it was intended, delivering strength to body, clarity to mind, and balance to spirit. Beyond science, the architecture of sleep has always carried deeper meaning. Many traditions speak of sleep as a journey of the soul. The stages of descent and ascent mirror the journeys described by mystics, leaving the surface of life, descending into silence, encountering visions, and returning renewed. Whether you view it spiritually or scientifically, the truth remains the same. Your nights are not wasted hours. They are carefully structured journeys designed for your growth. Each stage is like a chamber in a temple, and as you pass through, your mind and spirit are reshaped. Consider how this architecture impacts your daily life. Without enough deep sleep, you may notice your body feels heavy, your reactions slow, and even your willpower weaker. Without REM sleep, you may feel emotionally unstable, unable to process stress, easily irritated or overwhelmed. But when the cycles are complete, when the architecture is intact, you awaken with a sense of wholeness. You feel sharper, calmer, and more alive. This is the difference between merely existing and truly thriving. Sleep is not optional. It is the very structure upon which strength is built. The beauty of this architecture is that it does not require your conscious effort to function. Your body and brain know the path. They are designed with this rhythm in mind. The only task you have is to protect it. By giving yourself enough hours, by respecting the transition into sleep, and by avoiding habits that disrupt its flow. Think of it like a sacred building. You do not need to construct it each night. It is already there. But you must enter it with respect. If you rush in carelessly, if you damage its walls, you cannot benefit from its sanctuary. But if you enter with discipline, with intention, the architecture does its work, whether or not you are aware of it. This hidden design also teaches you something profound about life itself. Growth requires structure. Just as sleep follows cycles of descent and ascent, so too does life. You cannot live in constant activity without collapse. You must allow yourself times of silence, times of stillness, times of renewal. To ignore these cycles is to break the architecture of your own existence. But to honor them is to live in balance with the way life was meant to be. There is a story of an ancient builder who constructed temples so perfect that people believed the gods themselves guided his hands. When asked his secret, he said, "I do not create the temple. I only reveal what is already hidden in the stone. In the same way, you do not create the architecture of sleep. It is already within you. Each night when you surrender, you are entering a temple designed by nature itself, a temple that heals, strengthens, and teaches. Your only task is to enter with respect, to remain long enough for the work to be done, and to allow its silent architecture to shape you." The architecture of the sleeping mind is a reminder that discipline and surrender are not opposites, they are partners. You discipline yourself to prepare for sleep, to guard your nights, to honor the cycles. Then you surrender, allowing the architecture to unfold naturally. Together, discipline and surrender create balance, and balance creates strength. When you begin to understand this architecture, you no longer treat sleep as trivial. You no longer cut it short recklessly or poison it with chaos. Instead, you see it for what it is, the silent foundation of your power. And each morning as you awaken, you carry within you the results of its design, healing, renewal, and clarity. The architecture of the sleeping mind is not only about health, it is about transformation. It is a nightly journey, a silent construction project, a temple built in darkness that prepares you for the light of day. When you honor it, you live in strength. When you dishonor it, you live in weakness. The choice is yours every night, and the results are yours every morning. Sleep is not random. It is not wasted. It is designed, structured, intentional. To understand its architecture is to understand one of the deepest truths of life. That strength is built in silence, that transformation happens in cycles, and that within the darkness of night lies the foundation of light. Chapter 15. Night as the Forge of Identity. Every human being carries within them two versions of themselves. There is the self you present to the world during the day, the conscious self that makes decisions, speaks words, interacts with others, and carries out responsibilities. And then there is the deeper self, the one shaped quietly in silence, the one hidden beneath layers of memory, belief, and desire. This deeper self is not seen directly, but it is the foundation upon which the visible self rests. Who you are becoming is not only decided by what you do in the daylight, but also by what happens in the dark hours of the night. Sleep is not simply a pause in living. It is the forge in which your identity is hammered, refined, and reshaped. Each night you enter the forge, and each morning you step out carrying the results. Think of a blacksmith at work. The blacksmith takes raw iron, places it into fire, hammers it upon the anvil, and repeats the process until it becomes a strong and purposeful tool. This is what the night does to you. It takes the raw material of your daily experiences, the heat of your emotions, the fragments of your learning, and the weight of your decisions, and it places them into the fire of the subconscious. There, unseen, they are hammered into form, shaped into patterns, strengthened into habits. By the time you awaken, your identity has been refined. The person who opened their eyes yesterday is not the same as the one who opens their eyes today. Every night you are being forged. The question is not whether you are changing, but what shape you are taking. Most people are unaware of this forge. They treat sleep casually, thinking it is nothing more than rest. They stumble into bed with chaos in their minds, anger, fear, distraction, and without realizing it, they are handing this raw material to the forge. The subconscious does not judge. It simply works with what it is given. If you feed it poison, it will mold poison into your identity. If you feed it strength, it will mold strength. This is why your nightly habits matter so profoundly. They are not just rituals, they are the choices that decide what kind of self the forge will produce. Consider what happens when you go to bed with anger. The subconscious receives this heat and begins to hammer it into patterns of bitterness, which then appear in your words and actions the next day. Consider what happens when you go to bed with fear. The forge turns that fear into sharper anxiety, which echoes in your behavior, weakening your confidence. But now imagine going to bed with gratitude. The subconscious takes this light and forges it into a calmer, steadier self. Imagine going to bed with vision. The subconscious engraves it into your identity, making it easier to act with clarity and purpose. Every night the forge works, whether you are aware or not. Every morning you awaken carrying its product. This is why intentional sleep is so powerful. It is not simply about getting enough hours, though that matters greatly. It is about choosing the raw material you hand to the forge. What thoughts do you dwell on in the last moments before sleep? What emotions do you allow to fill your mind? What images do you feed your subconscious through screens, conversations, or reflections? Each of these becomes iron in the fire, each of them hammered into the shape of your identity. You cannot expect to feed your mind with chaos and awaken in peace. You cannot expect to dwell on weakness and awaken with strength. The forge cannot create what you do not supply. The night also reveals the truth about identity. It is not fixed. Too often people believe they are trapped by who they have been. They think their mistakes, fears, or limitations define them permanently. But sleep itself contradicts this belief. Every night, your mind proves that you are malleable, that you are being reshaped constantly, that you are not the same person you were yesterday. Memory consolidation, emotional healing, subconscious reprogramming, all of these processes show that identity is fluid, always in motion. This is a gift. It means you can change. It means you can strengthen. It means you can forge yourself into something greater, not by forcing it in the day alone, but by aligning with the silent power of the night. The forge of night also teaches discipline. Just as a blacksmith cannot rush the process, you cannot rush sleep. You must surrender to its rhythm, allow it to cycle through its stages, and give it the time it needs. This is why cutting sleep short is so destructive. You step out of the forge before the work is done. You awaken half-formed, carrying unfinished emotions, unprocessed memories, and weakened focus. Over time, this leaves cracks in your identity, fractures that spread into every part of your life. But when you respect the forge, when you give it time, protection, and proper preparation, it shapes you fully, producing strength that cannot be easily broken. There is also a spiritual depth to this idea of the forge. Many traditions speak of night as a time when the soul is tested, refined, or drawn closer to truth. The silence of sleep strips away distractions, leaving only what is essential. In this stillness, you are reminded that identity is not only built by outward action, but also by inner surrender. The night humbles you, reminding you that no matter your strength, you must lay it down each evening and trust the unseen process to restore it. And yet, in this humility lies the greatest strength, the recognition that transformation does not require constant striving. Sometimes it requires silence, surrender, and trust in the forge of the night. Practical application of this truth begins with preparation. Guard the gates of your night, as we have said before, because what you allow in becomes the material of the forge. End your day with rituals that honor your identity, gratitude, reflection, vision. Write down your intentions, release your regrets, and plant seeds of who you wish to become. As you drift into sleep, know that your subconscious will take these offerings and hammer them into the structure of your identity. Then, when you awaken, do not forget that you are carrying the product of this work. Live as if you have been forged anew, because in truth, you have. There is an old parable of a sword maker who labored tirelessly over his craft. Each blade he forged took weeks, sometimes months, to perfect. When asked why he took such care, he replied, "Because the sword is not just metal, it is the spirit of the one who will wield it. If I rush, the sword will break in battle. If I honor the process, it will endure. The same is true of you. The forge of night is shaping you into the weapon you will carry into the battles of life. If you neglect it, you will break. If you respect it, you will endure." The identity you carry is not an accident. It is the product of countless nights in the forge. Each morning, you step into the world wielding the self that was shaped in silence. To train your mind while you sleep is to take control of this process, to become not only the one who lives the day, but the one who chooses the material of the night. In this way, you are both the blacksmith and the sword, both the creator and the creation. Never again think of sleep as wasted time. See it for what it truly is, the forge of identity. Every night is an opportunity to be reshaped, to be strengthened, to be renewed. Every morning is proof that the process works. The only question is whether you will honor it, whether you will give it the respect it deserves, and whether you will choose to become more than you were yesterday. Because in the end, your life is not defined by one great moment, but by the countless nights that shaped you quietly, invisibly, powerfully. The forge is always burning. The hammer is always striking. The question is, what will you become when you awaken? Sleep is not simply a pause in life. It is not the blank space between days. It is the hidden workshop, the forge, the mirror, the temple, and the teacher of your mind and spirit. Across these chapters, you have discovered that the night is not silent. It is alive with purpose. While your conscious self rests, your subconscious works tirelessly. It heals your emotions, sharpens your thoughts, strengthens your identity, and prepares you for the challenges of tomorrow. Every dream, every cycle, every moment of surrender is part of this extraordinary process. The greatest mistake people make is to treat sleep as wasted time, something to cut short, something to push aside in the pursuit of more hours of work or distraction. But strength does not come from constant effort. Clarity does not come from endless noise. Wisdom does not come from refusing rest. These things arise when you align yourself with the rhythm of life, when you allow the day to teach and the night to transform, when you embrace both action and surrender, when you realize that mastery is built as much in silence as it is in struggle. Each night is a choice. You can drift into sleep carelessly, handing your subconscious the chaos of distraction, fear, or anger. If you do, the forge will still work, but what it produces will weaken you. Or you can enter sleep with intention, guarding your gates, planting seeds of gratitude, feeding your subconscious with vision and discipline. If you do, the forge will shape you into someone stronger, calmer, clearer. The night will multiply what you give it. The morning will reveal the results. This book has shown you that sleep is not passive. It is active transformation. It is memory consolidation, emotional healing, subconscious reprogramming, creative problem solving, and identity building. It is the place where your mind is sharpened, your emotions balanced, and your strength restored. It is the architecture of cycles, the alchemy of turning struggle into wisdom, the mirror of your soul, and the gateway of dreams. It is where the warrior sharpens his sword, where the blacksmith forges his blade, where the teacher whispers truth in silence. So when you close your eyes tonight, remember, you are not only resting, you are training. You are surrendering your conscious self so that your deeper self can rise stronger. You are stepping into the forge, into the temple, into the classroom of the night. You are handing your subconscious the raw material of who you are, and by morning, it will hand you back the sharpened version of who you can become. Never again underestimate the power of sleep. Respect it, guard it, prepare for it as you would prepare for a sacred ritual. Treat it as one of the most important acts of discipline in your life, because in truth, it is. Every night is an opportunity for transformation, and every morning is proof that transformation has taken place. And so, the journey comes full circle. You began by asking how to train your mind while you sleep. You now know that the answer is not in one technique or one secret. It is in treating the night as sacred, in respecting the rhythm of rest, in preparing your mind with intention, and in surrendering fully to the process. Do this, and each morning you will awaken not as the same person who closed their eyes, but as someone stronger, clearer, and more alive. The path of mastery is not found only in the battles of the day. It is found in the silence of the night. Train your mind while you sleep, and you will awaken to discover that you have been transforming all along. The night is your ally, sleep is your forge, dreams are your gateways, surrender is your strength, and the morning is your awakening. Rise, then, not only from your bed, but into your life, with the renewed mind that each night has been preparing for you.